Established in 2001, the Mesothelioma Research Foundation of America is a nonprofit organization dedicated to making mesothelioma a cancer of the past. 100% of your donations go to research, including Dr. Gill's Cancer Lab at USC Norris, whose start was funded by the foundation. Presently, we are proud of supporting from their inception Veglan, B4, and Delta.
Mesothelioma.
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 When I thought things were going to be alright, and I walked in there, he said, "No, you've got mesothelioma." And I said, "Well, what's that?" And he told me what it was, and I said, "Well, how long have I got to live?" He said, "On a good day," he said, 18 months to 2 years.
It was a total shock. I was basically told, and I didn't know what it meant, and I just said, "Could you write that down, please?"
The children came with us because we were all concerned, and we went in to see Dr. Warburton, and he said yes, it was what they call mesothelioma, which none of us had ever heard about.
Almost all patients with malignant pleural mesothelioma lining the lung, there is asbestos exposure.
They kept asking me had I ever worked with asbestos, and the bells were beginning to ring, because I just thought, I know where I've worked with that now. I know what it is.
The asbestos exposure can be incredibly trivial. It doesn't need heavy exposure.
I used to go into the boiler house, but because the school was a new school, it was actually full of dust, and there was a lot of lagging on the pipes, which had disintegrated.
So he used to go like this on his head, and it'd all come off and we'd jump up, thinking it was snow to catch it. When we were toddlers, it was a fun thing to do.
One of the issues about mesothelioma is that the exposure may have occurred 20 years or more before the tumour causes problems for the person.
A long time ago, when I was 15, 16, 17, it was my, being an apprentice, it was my job to hammer, with hammer and chisel, the asbestos lagging what was on the boilers. And it was my job to sweep it up afterwards, after we repaired it. That's the only time ever that I've ever worked with asbestos.
From 15 years old, on the building site, insulate doors, fireproofing casings. We've done a lot of work in pubs, which had to be fireproof from one floor to another, and everyone used it on the building site.
We're seeing quite young people now in their 50s and early 60s, both men and women. So this perception that it's just old men is just incorrect.
I was born in 1969. I worked in the industry, the electrical installation industry. The guys that were pulling out the pipe tended to be wearing masks, but that didn't necessarily mean anything to me at 16. You know, you do what you're told when you're 16 and you're an apprentice.
After the operation, when they'd obviously discovered the mesothelioma, I was asked if I'd ever worked with asbestos, and I said no. But then I remembered going back many, many years that I had actually worked in a room, in a classroom. It's always pinning work up and taking work down, stapling it into the walls.
I went in the hospital thinking I was a one-off case and thought I were great till I got in there and saw how many people have got it.
One of the concerns we have is that the exposure to asbestos is still occurring, so it's really crucial that people know whether they're working with asbestos, and if they are, that they take appropriate health and safety advice.
There is still a lot of asbestos around and about. That's maybe not even, the obvious asbestos probably has been removed, but there are still lots of areas where it is, and it's people that are crawling in roof spaces or drilling holes or going under floors. So it's definitely out there, otherwise I wouldn't be sat here now.
Question people, don't be frightened to ask your governor or your foreman on site, saying, should I be wearing masks? Is there any chance of asbestos? You just can't explain enough to people how these things affect you later in life. You might walk off the job that evening and you feel fine. But 15 years down the line, you'll regret it, like I am now.
Keep well away. That's a message I would like to say. Keep well away, because you don't want to end up like me.
But I was very, very angry. Very, very angry. Very bitter. Not only because I'd been exposed to it, but as I said previously, because of the people I could have exposed to it.
I got this when working. I feel angry about it.
Don't really know how long I've got left, probably in about another year, if a bit of luck. But if I felt angry every day, there wouldn't be any way of living your life, really, would it?
When people are diagnosed with mesothelioma, most of them keep a dignified silence for the families, so it makes it easier to live through the last months. Too many people have kept quiet for too long, and it's time people stood up and found the voices and said, all of our people have died and it's got to stop, and it's got to stop now. Otherwise there'll be no end to it ever. It'll carry on into the next 100 years with people dying from mesothelioma.
For more information, please visit our website or call 1-800-909-MESO. Thank you.